What's up, people? This your boy Ceddy90. How y'all doing? Mafia Old Country was good, great, and just a heads up, spoiler alert, don't watch the video if you don't want to be spoiled. Now, it doesn't relate to no Joe Barbaro, doesn't relate to none of those, not Vino Scaleto, and not Tommy Angelo, because Isabella is just now going to Arcadia Bay. Okay? It doesn't relate to nothing. No, not the daughter, nothing in her background. Because it doesn't relate to nothing, only Leo Galante. Leo Galante. That's the only in the hometown of Sicily. Case closed. Vino Scaleto was in in Sicily to do that war thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, some of the mafia people, whatever. This is before, like, yeah. See, it's like they still going on, yes, but it's like a different generation of a generation. Cause I know Isabella was not having that type of vibe of going back into that town or going back into that lifestyle. She was not. I said town. I know. I just caught myself. She ain't going back into that lifestyle. That was tragic. That was something. She ain't going back to that lifestyle. And I bet she not. I don't think her daughter. I don't think she want to put her daughter in that type of risk. But if her daughter forced that, it might. Her daughter. I ain't gonna get there. But the only vibes that I was feeling was Tommy Angelo and Sarah. That's the only vibes that I was feeling when I was playing that game. Because the racing, the horse riding, and the relationship between Isabella and him. I can't pronounce his name. Because I'm going to end up saying Ezio. Ezio. I can't pronounce his name, I'm sorry. But I was feeling Tommy Angelo's vibe in Sarah. That's what I was feeling. But in that type of time, he got the okay go. But in his type of time, he didn't get the okay go. He was sneaking around, boy. He was putting high risk. They was putting high risk at that. And that was giving me like a jump, like, oh my god, they're gonna get caught, they're gonna get caught. And man, oh man. But that old man knew what was going on. But that's the only thing that I can relate to Mafia. I don't see no old Mafia's thing anywhere. But I see part 2. That's the only thing I can relate, because Vio Scaleto's gonna go to war and go back to that type of town, only just to help out with the language and stuff. That's the only thing, because that's the only recent thing he did, because it's like he can understand the language and stuff. But other than that, that's the only two people. Well, that's the only two things that I know about Mafia, the Old Country. That's the only thing I know. But other than that, when it comes down to Isabella she's going to Empire Bay. Was nothing relates of that, because you definitely gotta find her backstory. You gotta look at you gotta scroll into everybody's history. If they don't got that in there, then they just making up theories. But it's like it might be, or I might miscalculate it. It might be a few people that's like in Mafia 1 or 2 or 3 from their generation. I'm basically looking for their generations back in that year. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm just looking for people that I know from that type of. There's no Lincoln Clay's family, because it's like it's none of their family. I did not, because it was no. It's like I could not actually drive out and search, because it's like, hey, and it probably might be some letters that involves the. It might be some letters that involve something like that. But we talk. I'm looking at the year, and I'm looking at what's people's generations of generations, because it's like I'm looking at last names. I'm looking for last names, middle names, and all those other type of stuff when it comes down to mafias. Because sometimes people just might join of their gang, a different gang of a mafia gang. You feel me? So it's like I'm just looking at that. Other than that, it was just the two of them trying to get out of that lifestyle, and just like you was brought into that, and now you're about to break something that they help you to get out of a problem, of a situation, and you just went right back into a situation that you did not really quite understand, of a situation that he was into. And plus on that, he was messing with something that was very high risk. And see what happens. He got what I'm not going to say he got what he deserved, but he was not really paying attention. He should have known that situation at the end. He should have known. But that's how it goes down. And so, other than that, when it comes down to Isabella, remember, it doesn't involve with Joe Barbaro, because it was not mentioned of kids' names, of nothing names. We don't even know the little girl's name. It was not mentioned. Well, if it was mentioned, because I can play this game for like 1,000 times and look at everybody's background 1,000 times, because I did not find no Isabella of Mafia 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to replay it, and I'm going to replay it, look at newspapers carefully, and if I do find it of an Isabella of this and that, because which I thought it was going to be a relationship to Vito Scalero, or Vito Scalero's family, and Tommy Angelo's. I don't think Lick and Clay, I'm not sure. I don't really think of that, because I'm looking at generations of who and who. Because you gotta remember, if you play part 3, we know Lincoln Clay's mother because because what I forgot his name. Pastor I forgot his name. But yeah, it was like, yeah, but I'm looking for Tommy Angelo and Vito Scalero. That's the two people I'm looking for of their generations. I was looking for that, because they actually speak a little bit. They would speak it, and so it's like, but have they got the mom's name of Tommy Angelo's? Nope. Vito Scalero's mom. See, now I gotta do some research, because what's his mom's name? It might be the daughter. Oh. Maybe, I don't know. That's my theory. Because Joe Barbaro's mom, it doesn't say nothing about no Joe Barbaro's mom or grandparents or sister or anything. He doesn't really tell his story. But other than that, I gotta look at it more, because it's only between Isabella I think it's her cousin, because this is an uncle. I don't know, but he lives. But I don't know if he stayed or he joined something else or make something else to make a generation of a generation to go Arcadia Bay. But it doesn't say that no letters or nothing or anything like that, because it's like now people's just gonna make theories about it because it just stopped it right there. We don't see no little girl. She's not holding no hands of a little girl. She's not actually saying the name of the little girl, of her baby. It was just like, okay, she just went to Arcadia Bay. To do what? To live her own life. That's what I think, because she would not. I know darn well she ain't going to go back. But if she do something upon it, they're going to kill her. Because it's like, she don't want to go back to that lifestyle. I guarantee. But if she do, she's going to like, no, and trying to stab everybody, and they're going to try to kill her like, yeah, uh-huh. But if she does, she's going to do it on the down low and probably love the lifestyle that she is. But it's like, but what happens if her daughter comes in that lifestyle of somewhere in that type of generation and they killed the daughter or something like that because of like what her husband did or something like that? Or it's much. It's a much theory thing going on there, but it's like, hey, that's what I'm thinking. Because there's no Vito Scaletta and no Tommy Angelo and no Joe Barbaro. Nothing relates to that. But the only thing that relates is the love vibe of Tommy and Sarah. That's the only thing I see is the Tommy when he's doing racing and he's taking care of Sarah. He's taking care of Isabella, and it's like, yeah, that's the only thing I was feeling that love vibe. But instead, Tommy Angelo was not sneaking around. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that make it like a little bit different. But the love vibe was nowhere near different. But it was like it was getting there. But I see a Romeo and Juliet thing. It's like, yeah, you can't marry my daughter because you this and that, and so it's like, yeah, it came down to that. But other than that, I hope everybody enjoys that game. Remember, this is spoiler alert. Didn't finish it, don't watch this video. So yeah, I'm just gonna put that in the warning thing. So it's like, yeah. So, anywho, this your boy Ceddy90, Later, and Alice. I hope everybody have a wonderful day.